Hello, dear friends. Happiness is like a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it will elude you. But if you pay attention to other things, it will come and sit gently on your shoulder. Henry David Thoreau. Let's be smart and stop buying into the fear factor. Freedom is the most important feeling a human being can have. It is freedom that allows one to think and act according to one's own will. The school of the earth is the most difficult in the universe. Only the bravest souls enroll in it. This is a summary of various opinions about what would be happening in the world. Opinion piece. Open letter to whoever pulls the strings. Be yourself the change you want. Controlled demolition of the economy. Strange chess codes in the media. We are in psychological struggle according to Sierra. God will not do for you what you can do for yourself. The West could collapse like the Soviet Union. Earth's school is the hardest in the universe. Davos Forum open house event cancelled. Let's start. This has been an extremely long year for all of us. Families have been divided and the environment is getting worse. Our freedoms have been curtailed. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, have awakened through insightful journalists, but the world has not yet been set right. In early October, we were informed of a Red October, with rumblings around the world. The pundits gave us hints that November was going to be the month, but on November 6th nothing happened, and on 11/11 nothing happened in front of our eyes either. The same was true for November 21st and this Thanksgiving weekend. We haven't seen anything happen except the crash of the financial system, which could be the beginning of the storm, but nothing is known for sure. Maybe this and maybe that, but we deserve to know because we have suffered enough. For years, I have anticipated each day with excitement, knowing that I was seeing the recovery of our freedom. So I asked those who pulled the strings for the liberation of humankind, the animals and the planet, whatever they had to do it once and for all, because they have the strength and the resources to do it. On a personal level, neither I nor anyone else was born to spend our lives struggling and stressing, but to enjoy and celebrate life every day, to enjoy nature, rest and good food, to live together and laugh with our friends and family, to lead a contemplative spiritual life through meditation, prayer and silence, whoever chooses that path, to be in deep connection with the original source of universal creation, and to experience the divine joy of communion with the Creator. I do not have the vocation of a hero or a martyr, but I try to serve my fellow men as best as I can in these difficult times by using my professional skills and to achieve liberation for the benefit of all sentient beings. Everyone has their mission, but sometimes it becomes a heavy burden, and we all deserve a break, a paid vacation. Life in a three-dimensional world can be so varied and unpredictable that a human being falling into its whirlpool experiences so many different emotions that his energetic background is constantly changing, sometimes very striking. in moments of enlightenment, their frequency is able to rise to the level of the 6th and even 7th chakras, and in moments of fear and despair, they can sometimes descend to the 2nd chakra. Such vibrational drops have a very deplorate effect on their health, as each wave of negative emotion leaves a scar or even a hole in their subtle bodies, as a result of which a person's physical body grows old and decrepit. Reset News. This week, the world's biggest economic crisis event was expected in the market. World Summary. First, Australia total shutdown. Second, Europe migration crisis in Poland and Belarus. Blockade in Austria. Tension in Ukraine. Third, South Africa no international flights. Fourth, inflation is rising. Oil and gas shortages and food shortages. This would suggest that breakthroughs would occur. The rival always seems to push harder when cornered. His plan is no longer working, and he needs to hurry up and do ugly things. Restored Republic. Saturday update by Wolverine. Lots of movement in Renault over the last 2 weeks, and momentum is moving every day. They told everyone to stay put, as the gates are about to open any day now. Jude Bington has reported that the electrical grid is changed, and future power bills will reflect that conversion. Maverick speaking. Before I die of boredom, waiting for events or to explode, that sweet lady, Judy Bington, seems to be the best compiler of all things reset related, especially when it comes to the dinar. She chronicles the snail's pace of progress the world is making toward what we have long hoped would be a happy outcome for us all. It is probably better than Mrs. Bington gives us soft and gentle news and updates rather than salty fire and brimstone. I know it is just a pipe dream, maybe tomorrow, or maybe before Christmas, or maybe in the fiscal years ahead. I have grown old waiting for this to happen. I lost too many friends and spent too many vacations alone. Sure, would be nice if we could get this over with before everyone gives up. Sure, would be nice. By Blu-ray. The Restored Republic reports have a 90% repeat rate, with a new tidbit added. Every one of us here hears that little voice more often than non-playing good cop, bad cop, wondering if all the VR was really too good to be true. Those emergency broadcast system tests and internet outages that almost never happen give that bad cop a lot to talk about. The catch is all the alleged aliens claiming to be here to help us ascend. Claims of advanced technologies tantalize us with a healthy and happy future awaiting us. However, when push comes to shove, they are not allowed to do anything until we fix this mess ourselves. Apparently, the bad aliens can do as they please, but the good ones would be restricted by the galactic equivalent of the Prime Directive. So, the rules would be only for the little people. It would be a rigged game. Davos Forum. What we were told about the bad reset was that to offset what was essentially an economic collapse on an international scale, governments were going to offer total debt relief. They would offer to eliminate all personal debt, mortgages, loans, credit cards, etc., under what would become known as the World Debt Reset Program. In exchange for acceptance of this total debt forgiveness, the individual would lose ownership of any and all property and assets forever. Davos Forum open house event cancelled after threats. An open house event to coincide with the 2022 World Economic Forum in the Swiss mountain town of Davos has been cancelled due to threats. The main WEF meeting under the theme Working Together Restoring Trust is scheduled for January 17 to 21st. Controlled demolition of the economy according to the X22 report. People believe the economy is bad and are blaming the politicians. The system is now pushing its controlled demolition. They need a cover story as to why the economic system is falling apart. This will fail. The Fed accelerates its plan and is about to hit a brick wall. The entire economic system has been reached to prop up the system. The central bank is forming an army of fiscal agents to go after taxpayers. The Fed accelerates the plan, ready to raise rates and cut them. The next move of the people will destroy their system. The dark side will push the people over the edge, but the people will react, and when they do, it will destroy their system. It is going to get worse before it gets better, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The Great Awakening. We are breaking free according to Holy Monday morning. What is the Great Awakening about? Being liberated, realizing that we are no longer debt slaves controlled by the system. We are freeing ourselves. With that freedom, everything that has been repressed will be released. We have been kept in the dark when so much technology has been held back to improve our lives. The battle between good and evil continues. This is a spiritual war and a mental war. Those who are awake see. Keep your frequency high. See this, feel this, and be the new energy of abundance on the planet. Notice it here on Earth now. Scavino's message, they have it all. It's going to be biblical. The dark side needs to keep the news closed with other stories, so they are using them to keep the world busy while the truth is presented to the people. Continue with their big reboot program or restart program, and now they are building another narrative. People are waking up, and this plan has failed before it even started. Psychological struggle. We are in psychological struggle according to Sierra. We have to hold the light. Again, the operators never disclose. They told us there was no other way. People have the desire to change only at the precipice. Any agent for this movement will never debulk the truth until it is time. Sometimes you need to shoot yourself in the foot to get the opposition to look in a different direction. This will confuse many of us from time to time. But keep in mind that this is done without compromising the overall mission. The good guys are in control and make strategic moves based on the overall betterment of humankind. We may not understand the moving pieces at all times, but who has the 40,000-foot view? If it would take a massive global awakening, it would mean revealing to the world something too shocking that it would force the most humans around the world to stop what they are doing. I talk and break the established control. I think it would go a long way. Be yourself the change you desire, as in a movie. The Nightingales in the Gilded Cage by Patrick Thomas. The point is that current events are invented in the same way that the movie script is written. They are imagined. These scenarios become simulations that become reality. The command sequences are also called modeling. Reality is what you say it is. The world is not simply math, it is actually an artificial and pipetted creation. The Big Picture by Starship Earth. While some are reaching the end of their rope and patience with the restart and everything else, some of us are enjoying the God won't do for you the excuse me, it's a mistake. Some of us are enjoying the God show for the most part. It is difficult in many ways, but it is a far cry from the nightmare it would be if it were real. There is no way to make it an excursion or a picnic for those who wake up and wake up cold for others. We need to understand what they are going through so we can help them when the time comes. I bet the good guys never let a good crisis to go to waste, and they have orchestrated a few on their own. The whole world is working together to make it happen. The sleepyheads will be alerted later. Almost everything that is happening is scripted, like a movie. It could be like cat and mouse at this point. There is an order of operations, and we are waiting for the climax of this movie as we ride up the hill on our roller coaster, trying to enjoy the thrill at every turn without losing our lunch. It's no coincidence that the right people are activated at perfect time. Some provide humor, some educate about the past, some encourage a higher path, some are cheerleaders to keep us going, some warn us about who is who in the zoo. The truth about everything will come at that point. The flood is coming, but these waves are licking at us now. We look forward to a very positive future, where reality surprises us because we have been locked into middle age and lied to about our reality. Strange Codes. Chess Codes by Cat. The Storm Rider said a few weeks ago on his Telegram channel that the new varieties are military codes, each indicating white hat chess operations or counter moves. The dark side got confused when so many different varieties started appearing in the news without their control. There are many communications flying around and nothing is what it seems. If you belong to the priesthood that created language and mathematics and other hidden texts in the so-called holy books, you will discover how to hide the evidence in sentences and words. We are operational. Now is the time to pray. It is over before it begins. God will not do for you what you can do for yourself. Use your sacred senses in harmony. Seek peace everywhere. Awakening goes much farther than we can comprehend. Our dates may be off, but I take comfort in the fact that millions of us are focused on the same beautiful vision. We now know that the brave new world, free of demons, is on the horizon. Freedom, abundance, and healing sovereignty are part of this plan. Blessings of unceasing peace, health, happiness, and abundance. Do you trust the plan? Where are we after so much discussion? By Myron. Where are now within this space? How much suffering must it take until everyone realizes that humankind is one and the same everywhere? Why are small businesses attacked while corporations are subsidized? The financial wealth is an insider reality. Just watch the movie. It is the key now to trust the plan. How long have we been hearing those words? At what point do people simply come to the conclusion that this might just be a ploy to keep us at bay while the bad guys move forward with their plans? A plan where the good guys try to thwart the bad guys and restore the world to a place and time where evil didn't reign, at least not at this level. It's not the times of waiting for mankind. God himself would have to be the one to intervene. I hope he does, as it would restore hope in humankind to many. If it turns out that we have been manipulated by a very clever distraction to keep us glued to a screen and out of the way, I am blessed to know in my soul that this earth is not my home. I am not going to waste another day pinning for clues. It's not like I am walking away from the research, but I am not letting it get to me emotionally. Unanswered questions by Stefan. Do you really believe that this chaotic world we are shown right now can still be saved? That this world will recover and we can go back to our no life? Do you really believe that the conflicts we are shown by the media and some alternative channels are real? Do you really believe that we have not been indoctrinated for decades? Do you really think you can get away with no questions asked? Do you really think the coalition would allow harm to come to those needed in the new world? Do you really think the media is telling you the right things? Do you really think a nation has learned from its past? Do you really think there is no plan for later? And finally, do you really believe that other civilizations in the universe get up every day in the morning, wash up and go to some kind of work, only to fall asleep exhausted at night on the couch in front of an indoctrination device, and get a salary for it that is worth less and less? Do you really believe that a community can only function if there are enough rules and laws? And the more laws and rules, the better? Aren't too many laws and rules more of a raison d'etre for judges and lawyers? Decadence of the West. The West could collapse like the Soviet Union, says a Russian expert. I think the underlying cause is that the current Western elite doesn't know how to deal with the challenges facing the Western world. Technology has come a long way. Even though the West is in crisis, it is still the most developed civilization, and I think it was the first to find the problem when it should change its policy. Technology has changed drastically in the last 30 years, but the Western system remained the same in the 20th century. Also, what they call victory over the Soviet Union did them a disservice. They have the illusion that they must continue to act the same way. They must continue to act in the same way. That is the only way to solve the problem. But I think that's impossible at the moment, writes the nomad economist. Slow progress. Puffness said, things have not changed since last week. Progress is slow and deliberate. Be patient. There is gold at the end of the rainbow. The unsettling times and energies everyone is feeling are in fact quite real. You also feel similar intuitive hunches that things are changing, that it is time for events to start happening, and that the missives are on the way. Do you understand the drift? We can assure you that the times are changing, with plans to derail the avalanche of pain and anguish now shooting in all directions. Get ready for action very soon. We cannot tell you the day, nor could even if we knew. But we also know that the final countdown is underway, and that the final countdown and that last minute shifts and changes are being considered just to make sure. Nothing will happen with this program or any other program until the next phase is completed. Sit back and watch. Wait and add prayer energies to the good that must happen, the positive outcome that is expected. There are things in the works that we wish we could share. Just trust us for now to be in tune with the measures to protect and evaluate any of all possible outcomes. You can doubt all you want, but we ask, what does that add to the progress that has been ongoing? Nothing. The least you can do is to stop taking away energies essential to the desired outcome. Nothing you can do personally will help you at this time except positive energies, and you will stop generating doubt and dissension. We cannot prevent what is needed for the great ones to act, but they will act when the time is right. Your withdrawal and dismissal, or so it seems, is due to stop civil outbursts that you know are possibly due to the influence and power of the clique, which is divided. Stop being a negative resource and let it go. Be patient because you are on the winning side. The Office of Puffiness weekly report. China currently controls 90.6% of the world's supply of personal computers, 70.6% of the world's supply of smartphones, 80% of the world's supplies of air conditioners, and approximately 38% of total global electronics production. But there is a flaw in this world domination plan. Ambitious microchips on which much of China's electronics production depends. China can only produce about 16% of the semiconductors needed to make their products. The rest they must import. This forces them to depend on producing nations, leaving their economy vulnerable. What makes China the world leader in its electronics production is its assembly, packaging and testing. It doesn't make the parts, but puts them together. More than 60% of China's microchips are imported from Taiwan. China and Taiwan have been locked in a political dispute for more than 70 years. China claims sovereignty over the island, but Taiwan rejects its call for unification. So, when we see China's whole military move regarding Taiwan, it is not an ideological dream of social reunification. It is for the economic survival of China's economy. The reason for pointing out these facts is for those who are wondering where the financial reset is and why it keeps getting delayed. This is just one factor that needs to be remedied before the restart begins. All the money in the world will do you no good if there is nothing to buy with. To gain cooperation and access to global markets from the rest of the world, China has to take responsibility for its historical debt, it is to say, its historical bonds, and release the holds they have on global escrow accounts that include gold-wrapped accounts. Similar situations exist all over the planet. Each nation participating in the upcoming event has specific interests and conditions that must be met for that participation. It could be border disputes, water rights, commodity production, or human rights violations, whatever it is for that particular country. So, before you get excited about the rumors afoot about the beginning of the global financial reset, before what we all hope can happen, consider the enormous complexity of all these nations singing from the same sheet music at the same time and fulfilling their obligations and commitments to the global environment known humankind. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.